If you're looking for a cake that is packed full with flavor, this spiced apple cake is it. Honestly, is like a flavor bomb in your mouth. You can just literally eat it warmed up on its own with a dash of cream cheese. It is absolutely delicious. So you really should try out this cake recipe. The full details of all the ingredients is in the description section. First of all, you're going to start off with mixing all your dry ingredients together. So those are plain flour. I've added some salt, and then we are going to use delicious spices. So we're using ground ginger, allspices, and nutmeg. Don't need a lot, you just need a little bit of spice. So make sure that you follow the quantity, otherwise, your cakes might actually taste a little bit pungent. So measure up your spices in there, and then we're going to use our raisin agent. So we're using both bicarbonate of soda and baking powder. Again, with raisin agent, you want to be very diligent and use the exact quantity that is required. Otherwise, you upset the balance with your cake and then your cakes may not turn out right. Mix them all together so all that spices and all your leavening agent and the salt is properly well incorporated into the flour so that when you mix it in your batter, you don't get any clumps of your spices. Next, we are going to do the creaming method, creaming the butter and the sugar. So you want to be using room temperature butter. You can use butter, or if you use baking margarine, like I'm using Stork brand, that is absolutely fine as well. So the creaming method is to allow the incorporation of air into your mixture. This helps to give a soft, fluffy cake. Whip up the butter in your stand mixer for about 2 minutes. If you're using a hand mixer, that's also fine. You probably want to whip it up for a little bit longer, probably about 5 minutes. Once you get to that stage, so the butter is not going to be thoroughly whipped, and that's absolutely fine. You just want to whip it a little bit. Next, we're going to add the sugar. Now we're using brown sugar. Whenever you see a recipe that uses brown sugar, you know it's going to be good because brown sugar has a complex, beautiful flavor that marries well with the spiced apple and the spices in this cake to make a cake that is absolutely delicious. Make sure that you scrape the bowl intermittently to get it nice and mixed. You want to mix and whip up your butter and sugar for about 5 minutes. Now, if you haven't subscribed to Dr. Momike's channel, you are missing out. I do live videos, I post tutorials nearly every week, so you don't want to miss out. So please hit the subscribe button. Now we're going to add a blast of flavor with vanilla. Don't worry, the vanilla is not going to overpower the rest of your spices, but it does also help to balance the flavors in your cake. Make sure that you use proper vanilla extract, not vanilla essence. Next goes in the egg. Whip that for about a minute to get the egg to incorporate with your mixture. Now we are ready to start combining things together. So make sure that you scrape your bowl, make sure that it's nicely combined before then moving over to the next stage. Now, when we add the flour and the apple mixture, so we're using apple puree, you want to do that interspace. So you add a third of the flour into the mixture, mix it for a bit just to incorporate the flour. Then you add a third of the applesauce. Applesauce, you can buy that from a store, or you can find recipes online on how to make your own apple puree. So once that's mixed, just only ever so slightly, then you add the next third of the flour and then mix and add the apple puree and vice versa until everything is nicely combined. That way, the flour is well combined into the mixture and the apple puree is well combined into the mixture. Once you have put the last bit of flour, just mix until it's just combined and stop. The reason we always say that is you don't want to overmix your batter. Now, if you don't know all the ins and outs about mixing and things like that, then you really should check out my Back to Baking Basics series, where I go into all these technical terms in depth to help you understand the science of baking. And also, you should join the waiting list for my baking community that is coming up pretty soon, early 2026, where you get to learn how to make amazing cakes with beginners just like you. Now, to prevent myself from overmixing things, once I've added the last batch of flour, rather than fully mix it with the stand mixer, which there is a tendency to overmix, I like to swap to mixing it by hand. So just using my spatula just to do that last final bit of mixing. And again, you just want to mix until you can't see any flour dustings, and that is it. Step away from the mixer. Okay, I've already prepared my cake tin, so I'm just going to pour it in the cake tin. The other thing that you make sure that you do is you have preheated your oven, so make sure that you do that at the start of the video so that by the time um, at the start of your baking, prepping your batter, I mean, so that by the time you're ready to put it in the oven, it's at the right temperature and ready to go. And then just pop it in the oven for the right time and it's ready to go. And then you have yourself a beautiful cake. So try out these recipes. Any issues, drop it in the comment section. I'm always happy to help. And I will see you on my next video.